So we're going to start off with a riddle. All right? So here's the riddle. See, let's see who can guess this. The most precious thing that you can possess, right? So the people that have me, most people that have me will mistreat me, and they will only realize my value when I'm gone. And once I'm gone and I leave, you'll never get me back. Whoa, my goodness. Wow. All right, well, I thought I was going to stump you. I thought I was going to get some other terms. So that's good. Time. I guess it wasn't that hard of a riddle. But yeah, it's time, right? Like, so, opposed to something like money, right? Because we could collect money, right? We can leverage money. We could save money. With health, you can improve your health, but money, health, all these things are all tied into time, right? It's incredibly precious. It's the most precious thing that we have. But here's the thing. With time, at birth, you're given a certain amount of time, okay? Now, I'm not talking about predestination or any of that stuff, so I'm going to be a little figurative in what I'm going to be talking about, so just follow with me. But really, like when we're born, we have only so many years on earth. If we're real lucky, we could live to older, 70, 80 years old. But in that span, that's it, right? Like, so the last 10 minutes, that's gone, and it's never coming back, right? So to illustrate this, I got something I was thinking about, and I got a number that I'm going to put up here. Okay, 840. Anybody know what that number represents? No? But that number, 840, is how many months you have from the time you're born till you're 70 years old. Okay? Now, some people live longer than 70. I'm not saying that's the end of everything, but that's just an estimate, right? So that's a pretty sobering number. It's not a huge number. Now, we're here with this marketing conference, and now I don't have any newborns here, I don't think, right? So that doesn't really apply to everybody. So let's take another number, 600. Okay, now if you're 20 years old, that's how many months you have. Now, we have some 20-year-olds here, 20 probably. How many here are 20 or in their 20s? Raise your hand. All right, so we got a few, we got a bunch, okay? And I know when you're 18, 19, 20, time doesn't even matter, right? Like you're going to live forever, right? That's 70 years old, they'll have a way that I could live to 1,000 by then, right? Because as humans, we think we just have time is just going to keep going on, right? So what about if you're 30? Well, now you have 480 months, right? So it starts going down. Now, what about if you're someone like my age, right? That's 16, yeah, no. Right? My age, I'm 44. I got 312 minutes. No. I better hurry this up then if I only got 312 minutes. I got 312 months, and I even have less than that, right? Because I'm pushing it up to 45. Right? Now, if we look at that number, 840, right, and then we look at that number, 312, man, there's not that much time left, right, to do everything that we want to do. And if we think about it, we had our goals, right? If you think about when you were in school, how many people when you were in school envisioned this amazing life that you were going to have, right? Right? How many of you have gifts, natural gifts, or you have things that you want to do, like I'm going to travel, I'm going to live life, I'm going to do things. Nobody? Anybody? I mean, I think most people I talk to, when they're graduated or they're in high school and they look at the future and the world, it's so big, I'm going to do all these things. Right? Well, then what happens? Right? Or time, right? Reality, time. It's not reality so much as it's our viewpoint, and I'm going to get into that, but it's time. Time is a terrible taskmaster, and it grinds away, right? And it keeps going, and you cannot stop it. Right? And nothing can fight time. It's going to come, it's going to come. So what happens is we get into our life, right? And then we just start getting into the routine. And, we're going to do that later. I'll do that later. But, right, time keeps ticking away. Right? And before we know it, we're out of time. Now, we have a large group of people here, right? And I'd say we're all entrepreneurs. You guys view yourself as entrepreneurs being here? Right. All right, great. Woo! Right? And we're all out-of-the-box thinkers, right? You guys out-of-the-box thinkers? Yeah, of course. You should all say yes. If you're here at this event, you are an out-of-the-box thinker. Because if you weren't, you'd be at your job right now, right? Grinding away. So this box, right? So there's two things I just talked about, entrepreneurship and out of the box. Now, those are two terms I see used a lot. I think they're misunderstood a little bit. I see a lot of memes for entrepreneur, and it's, oh, I'm an entrepreneur means you do this and you do that, right? And I have my own view of both these things, right? And they might not be the same as other things you've heard. Again, they're just my view. And so I'm going to talk about them a little bit in depth. The first thing I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about the box. This box is a dream killer. This box is an entrepreneur crusher, right? Well, where did this box come from? And how the hell did we get in it? So I have something that I came up with. And again, this is not scientific data. This is something that I thought of. So the box is, here's what it is what happens as soon as you can walk, talk, eat, and go to the bathroom by yourself. What happens to you? They're right. They send you to school. Right, domesticate you, exactly. Exactly. So what happens when you go to school, right? What happens the first day you go to school, what do? Right? Now I'm going to tell you what they do. The first thing they do, well, they pull this box out, right? And they say, get in the box. Okay? So you're in school, right? They tell you, get in this box, right? So they say, okay, listen, if you get in this box and you can follow all the directions, right? If you can memorize real good, you can take information in, you can regurgitate it back, right? If you can follow exactly what we say and do it just the way we say it, boy, you're going to be a success, right? Is that true? Like in school, and again, I know a lot of people have kids, and this is the way I see it and my viewpoint. But a lot of times, the kids who do really good in school are real good at memorizing, right? Just like that. And they're real good. They're real good at certain photographic things. So we go through school. Then what happens is we go to college. We're still in the box, right? So we're still in that box. And then what happens after college? Well, we get a job, right? Right? We get a job, and what happens? Well, the job, it's almost like school, right? We get up at early, and we get to work at 8, 9 o'clock. We got a break at 10:15. Then we got a lunch break, right? Then we go home at 6 o'clock. There's our life, right? Still in the box, still following tasks, still doing what we're told, so we can get a paycheck. Now, what do we do in this world? Well, it's not all bad, right? Because if you got a good job, you get 2 weeks off a year. Oh, wow. So for those 2 weeks, right, you get to fulfill all your hopes, dreams, goals, everything that you were going to do in those 2 weeks. Sounds like a good deal to me. So then what happens? Well, in our job, what are we wanting to do, right? Like, what's the end goal of the job, right? Like, what's the end goal, right? What are we saving for, right? What are we looking forward to? Retirement, right? We're building our whole life. The box told us, listen, do all this stuff so when you retire, you can have an amazing life. What happens when we retire? You're saying, right, Duel? Yeah, how many people retire? I was just talking to Suzanne McDowell's other day, and they're saying, there's people that retire, and 2 days later, they're dead. So they did what the box said, and now they're in a box, in the ground. Right? But anyway, so you retire, and if we're going by months, and I'm not saying 70, you can say 80, but now how many months do you have left? Because I tell you, if you stayed in that box your whole life, I don't care how many months you have left, you're not doing anything. Okay? It's pretty much a done deal. But here's the thing, when I was in school, I barely graduated. Right? I had a D average. I think they gave me my diploma, right? Because they just statistically wanted me to graduate, right? Now I wasn't in that position because I was lazy. Because I worked real hard. Like, I would stay up at night, I would study, I'd be stressed out, I'd be down, because I could not, I just couldn't get it. Just didn't get it. And it was only later, that I realized why. See, I wasn't stupid, right? I wasn't stupid, but what it was is I had forms of dyslexia, and I had other learning disabilities. Now, people would just say, well, Joe, you're just not that smart. You could work in construction, right? Sweet family just working because you're just not one of those smart guys. But I wasn't smart, I just thought differently. And it was no one's fault back then in the 80s, that, they didn't know, whatever. But what it did is it gave me the ability to look at problems and things very different because I know, right, if there's a problem, there's always going to be a solution. You just have to work around it, right? Because in school they say A plus B equals C. But for me, A plus B sometimes equaled Z or 2 or who the hell knows. So I had to get that answer, I had to go through all these different things. And that's why, I'm not saying everyone who has dyslexia or whatever is like that. There's plenty of smart people that think outside the box and everything else. But here's the thing, is that box and that task mentality. That mentality that there's some, that you just do these things and you get this result. Right? Just do these exact things. But as an entrepreneur, that doesn't work, man. You could talk to anybody who's made a lot of money in business and done a lot. Right? You talk to Tim Schmidt. You could talk to, Ryan was up here yesterday. And then there's other guys in the audience like, Michael Bittler and Dr. Larry, all these guys that have businesses, they'll tell you the same thing, okay? And one of the ways that I kind of came up with this, and it kind of hit home, because sometimes we look at life from our perspective, right? So, like I look at like this, I just think everyone thinks like me sometimes. And when I first started coaching, that's kind of what I thought. Now, 2 years later, I know it's very different. Right? People don't always, so I figure, well, if I give them like 10 times the information I have, they're going to make it. So here's the thing. So we had a webinar. We've been doing this Amplify series where we've been talking about video marketing. I had Owen Hemseth on, and he's a great video marketer. And we went through like 4 weeks of everything you needed to do to make a video for a client, the script, the questions to ask, where to get everything done from live to local video, everything. Like 100 times more stuff than I had. So, so someone posts while we're live on the webinar, hey, just sold a 10 video package. Wow, congratulations, man, that's great. Well, what happens like seconds later? Like within seconds, people are typing, hey, what'd you do? How'd you make the video? What'd you do? And they're asking them for that blueprint. Wait, what's the magic? What magic did you do? Right? And I'm thinking, I said, we just showed you everything. I just spent 4 weeks showing you, and you're asking this guy who just sold it, right? And I can guarantee you, that person that sold that, what they did is not going to always work for you, right? Because life's not a blueprint. It's not a script. That's why if someone gives you a sales script and you follow it exactly, it's not always going to work, It's something that you have to, it just doesn't work that way. So, what did that person do? But what did they do that made them go? What's that? Action. Right, they took massive action. Right, you guys see me do that a lot. I hashtag massive action. Massive action, massive action. Because that makes up for not everything, but it makes up for a lot. You can not know what you're doing, but if you take massive action, you're going to find out eventually. So what they did is they took massive action, but the other thing they did is they jumped. So we're all outside the box thinkers. But remember what I said before? Right? That box, you're not going to get rid of that box because that box is going to stay with you. But so what happens a lot of times is we're in one box and we jump in the other box. Right? So we jump. You like that? She really likes that. That's funny. You jump into this bigger box. See, because we're all out of the box thinkers, that's why we're doing internet marketing. We don't want to be in the rat race. We don't want to live this life like we've been living. Okay? But then we go, but that box is telling us you need to know exactly what you're doing before you can do anything. You need to follow the rules. You need to set these tasks up. If you have a problem, there's someone that's going to give you the solution. Right? Because that's what school taught us. That's that box. So we didn't actually leave the box. We just jumped into a bigger box. So to illustrate this, I talked about jump. Right? I said that person jumped. There's a video that was from Steve Harvey. Anyone ever see that video from Steve Harvey, jump? Yeah, all right, we got some few people. So here's what I'm going to do. Is what I want you guys to do is when you go to lunch, right, or tonight, I want you to look up Steve Harvey and jump. It's about 15 minutes. It's an incredibly good motivational video. And I'm going to take some things from him, so hopefully I do it justice. So here we are. Okay, that's us. And we're looking over the edge. And as we look over the edge, we see people flying by. Right? And they're flying by here, flying by there. And now these are the people that have jumped, and they're already doing what they set out to do. They're doing their dreams, their goals. This guy, he just closed a big client. Okay? This guy just, sold 10 videos. This guy just bought a new car. This guy just traveled with his family. Right? They're all fulfilling their goals, their dreams. And there you are. You're looking over that edge. Now, what you have on your back is a parachute. Now, in that parachute, or wings, or whatever you want to call it, that's all your hopes, your dreams, your goals, right? The things that you want to do in your life. Now, in order for you to do those things, you have to jump. Okay? Now, there's a few guarantees with this if you jump. Okay, the first guarantee is that if you jump, that parachute's not going to open the way you think it's going to open. Okay, those wings are not going to work. And they might come out a little bit, but it's not going to work, and you're going to hit the edge of that mountain. Okay, you're going to get bruised up. You're going to break your arm. You may get bruised on your face. Right? But if you get up back on that mountain, you jump again, guess what's going to happen? No, you're not going to die. The parachute's not going to open. Still not going to open right. And you go up again and it's still not going to open. You go up again, it's still not going to open. But eventually, that parachute's going to open. And eventually, you're going to soar. Okay? And eventually, you're going to fly. But here's the other guarantee. Okay? If you never jump off of that, if you never jump, it's never going to open. You are never going to fly. And the other thing is if you jump off and you hurt yourself and you quit, right? You're never going to fly. You might as well take that parachute, and you might as well put it in the garage. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. Okay? So we talked about the box. We talked about what the box does, how it keeps us on that cliff. But an entrepreneur, right? We all are entrepreneurs, and we all think like entrepreneurs. We want to be entrepreneurs. Well, what exactly is an entrepreneur? So let me ask you guys this question. If I'm a plumber, and I work for a plumbing company, and I decide, man, I want to go in business for myself. I don't want to work for this guy doing the same thing over and over again. And I get my own truck. I go out and get some jobs. I start working for myself, and am I an entrepreneur? No. Okay. All right, well, what about this? What if I get a secretary, And what if I get a couple of guys working for me? Am I an entrepreneur? Right. Well, I'm a business owner, for sure, right? I'm self-employed, but what happens if I get sick? Right? What happens if I break my leg? What if I get cancer? What if I die? What happens to my business? What happens to my family? Right? What happens to my business? Right? It's gone. Right? So, in my opinion, that's not an entrepreneur. Right? An entrepreneur is someone who builds something that can last. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a little journey. We're going to talk a little bit about my business, the way I set it up, and the things I did. And I want to be a little interactive. And I want you guys to think about this. I want you to think about, when I talk about a situation, I want you to see if you were in my position, what would you do? Not what would you do because what I'm saying right now, but before this event, if this happened to you, what's your first knee-jerk reaction to do? And that's going to determine if you're in the box, out of the box, or even have the box. Because see that box, what we have to do is we got to get rid of that box. We're gonna burn that box so that box doesn't even exist. And and as an entrepreneur, right, it's hard. If you talk to anyone who's been in business, it's hard. There's things that are going to come up that sideswipe you, okay, that knock you down, that knock you off, okay, but you just got to keep getting up, right? Like I've made $1 million and lost it, I've done a lot of stuff, that's bad's happened to me, but I've always come back because I've always jumped. And maybe because I'm not that smart, that's why I always jump. But I always jump. So let's go in to, we're going to burn the box. So, burn that box. Let's go back there. You like that, right? So that's what we're going to burn this box, right? So when you guys leave, everyone burn that box they gave you at school. So, all right, so in my business, so here's what happened to me. Okay, I'm working, I'm trying to get this thing off the ground. I close $100,000 worth of deals in 1 month. It's like a month and a half. So now what happens? Okay, I got 4 clients. So for each of these clients, I was doing all their digital marketing. So I was either rebuilding or redoing their websites, or making new websites. At the time, it was called Google Places. I was doing their Google Places and all their local directories. I was doing all the videos for them. I was doing content. I was doing their email follow-ups. I was doing a ton of stuff. Now, I was smart enough to give myself about 60 days to get this done. So how do you think that I attacked it, right? Or how would you have attacked it, right? Did I hashtag rise and grind, got up at 5 in the morning, worked till 7, 8 at night, until I finished it all, right? Just hammered it out so I can get it done, so I can get it fulfilled? How many people think I did that? Well, it's possible. In 60 days, you can do it. Sure, if you did it yourself, it's definitely possible, right? People do it all the time. I know because I talk to them on webinars. But so what would you do? Like if that happened, you just think about it. Like I just landed these clients. What am I going to do? What's my knee-jerk reaction? So call the Philippines. So I didn't do that. The first thing I did was I hired an assistant for about $17.50 an hour. So that's why I paid her. And she came in, and we worked a lot. So I did get up early. I did go late, right? But remember, in the beginning we talked about time, and how time keeps going, so I always have that in my mind, right? Because my time I want to spend with my family. I want to spend doing the things I want, not in my office. So I worked with her, and I showed her what needs to be done. And we built systems, right? We built flowcharts, and we made videos, and we did processes. Right? On the webinars, in the past, I always talk about processes. I've had several webinars on that I've done, so I'm not going to delve into that too much. And then right now, but what we did is we went in and we hired a couple of outsourcers for $3, $4 an hour. Okay, so what did I do? Right? I just leveraged. So now I can't add time. I can't get more time, but I can leverage. So what I did is I leveraged all those people's time. So in a sense, I did gain some time because I'm not doing. Now here's the thing, is when I first did it, it was very difficult, and most people don't want to do that, right? Because it's easier to do it yourself. Okay, and it's easier not to create the system or the process, right? Because you think, oh, it's going to take too much time to do the process. Let me just do it. I'll do it later, right? But if you spend double the time to make the process, then on the back end, you're free to do whatever you want. If you talk to any of those guys I said before, anybody who has a business that has multiple businesses, they have a process, right? Or they have a system for getting the work done. So now here it is. I get these guys, I get these clients going. So now I got all my team going. So now what does that free me up to do? I can go and get more clients, right? Because I'm not worried on the back end, because what did I create? Okay? Anybody recognize this picture from Facebook? So I put this picture up a number of times, and it's my machine, right? I built a money machine. The money machine is I put things and I put tasks in one end, and money comes out, right? But now it's not a push-button instant money machine. It's my systems, it's my processes. So if I get a new client, say a new dentist, and I put him in the machine, everything goes into motion. My articles get written, websites get done, citations everything gets done without me having to do it. So it frees me up to go out and do more and get more clients. Now, in my business, I don't really like clients, right? They take up a lot of my time. I have them. They pay me money. That was the basis of my business. I couldn't have even had the business I had without them. But I wanted something different, right? The thing I like, and everyone's different in their business, I like assets. I like to own things. That's not, for me, it wasn't an asset, because if my client left, there goes my money, right? So I wanted assets. So I thought, so here I am thinking broadly, right? Because we could think narrow or broad, right? So I'm thinking broadly, so let's look at the different angles. I don't want to keep having clients, but what can I do? So I started doing lead generation, right? Now I started doing this before I think it was even a term, about 2011. But what we did is we created a bunch of sites. Started off about 50 sites, and they were exact match domains, and they were for different niches. Let's say water heater niche. So we created one site. It was pretty thin. There wasn't a lot going on in there. But and then what we would do is we would duplicate that site, put it on a new exact match domain, change the city, change the phone number, run some bookmarks and some spammy links to it. It would rank. It worked out great. I mean, back then it worked out good. So then the phone started ringing, right? So now I got another problem. I got all these phone calls coming in, and I don't, there's one thing I don't like more than clients, and that's selling, right? So even though I got these phone calls coming in, now I got to sell all these leads, right? So what's that going to take up? Right? Time, more of my time. So what I do is I leveraged, someone else's time, and I partnered, and I had a guy who was really good at sales, and I gave him 30% off the top gross, and he was responsible for selling the leads, for making sure that people paid. If they didn't pay, he was responsible for getting somebody else, and if they had a problem, they talked to him. Right? And he was happy because he loves to sell. And I was happy because I made money and I didn't have to sell. Right? So now what did I create? Right? How many here have heard of the term, streams of income? Multiple streams of income, right? That's what we all want. We all want income coming in from different places. So I created 2 streams of income, right? 2 streams of income coming in to fill up my bank account. And that was great. But, I wasn't done. I joined, around this time, I joined OMG. And I had a goal that I wanted to do affiliate marketing. Because I liked that, because that was money that was going to come in. And I really didn't have to deal with anybody, right? I just ClickBank or whatever, I got money. And I remember talking to David Mills on the phone and Mike. And at the time, it was interesting, an opportunity came up. And Mike had a guy he knew was putting out a new ClickBank product. And he says, man, this is going to be the #1 ClickBank product. I know it. So, okay. And so what Mike did is in the members area, I don't even know how many members there were back then, maybe 1,000, I'm not sure, but in the members area, he put up 3 videos about what the product was, how to rank it, how to market it, and the keywords he used, he laid everything out that you need to do. Like, I couldn't believe it, right? So, how many people out of that 1,000 do you think took advantage of that? 5? 2? Yeah. Right. So I don't know how many people did, right? I don't know. But what I do know, right, is that I was ranking #1 and #2 for I don't even know how long, a long time. And I do know that I made over $10,000 a month for months. Because I was able to launch jack that term, or because I ranked for the term, no one else was doing it, so it was the easiest keyword to rank, right? Because it was a brand new keyword, right? But I was the only one there. Like, I didn't see any other OMGers that was ranking for it. Now, here's the other thing. You can go, the product was Venus Factor, and you can go to venusfactor.co, and you can look at my website that I put up. It wasn't beautiful. It was pretty ugly, and it was done pretty quick. But it converted, and I made money because I jumped, right? Because I did it. I didn't wait for everything to be perfect. I didn't wait for someone to tell me exactly how to put that site together. I jumped, I went, and I did it. Right? So now, I got 3 streams of income because I started doing some videos, some more affiliate stuff, and everything else. So now I got 3 streams of income, and then here we go. I decide, well, you know what? Me and my wife, we used to travel a lot before we were married. Then we got married, we had kids. We got in that grind a little bit, and we wanted to travel. We want to show our kids the world. We want to show our kids things that we've seen. So what we decided to do is we decided to move to Costa Rica. And that's what we did. We took a year, moved to Costa Rica. We visited Panama, Nicaragua. We met people from all over the world. It was an amazing experience. This was, right in our front yard, right? Like, this is the kind of stuff that people dream of, right? This is, man, I want to travel. I want to take my kids. I want them to see all the different things. I mean, this was like every day, right? That was my front yard, right? It's amazing. Now, while I'm in Costa Rica, though, something happens. Right? There's an update. And those updates, man, so the update had to do with EMDs and spammy links. Uh-oh, it's right. That's what I said one morning. And so one of my streams of income, that's me right there wondering what the hell happened to all my money. So what do you think I did, right? Like, what do you think I did when that stream dried up? You think we panicked? Jumped? Well, yeah, we jumped for sure. But, did we pack up the kids and go home? Oh, no. What do I know? I had 2 other streams of income coming in, right? Because I had a real business, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not relying on just this one stream. So what I did is, when that dried up, now I have a choice, right? Do I think inside the box, outside? What do I do? Well, I know making a bunch of spammy EMDs aren't going to work anymore. So I looked over at the landscape, saw the landscape changed, started looking at who's ranking. Well, people ranking for multiple cities are franchises, right? And national companies like 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Roto-Rooter, things like that. So we rebuilt the lead gen sites, built very authoritative sites. We branded them with an actual brand because I wanted Google to look at my site and think that this guy is a real franchise. And I even was going to do a franchise. But everything doesn't work out, right? That didn't work out. It wasn't a great, it may in the future, but it didn't work out. But the site, we built the site, and it started to rank, but didn't rank right away. It took months, probably about 8 months. But what's nice about that site was once it started ranking, every time I added a page, it would rank right away with almost no links. And it's not going down because Google views it as an authority. Now, I've done some webinars on how I built that site before, so I'm not going to get into that. But here's the other thing that happened. And so now I'm back in the lead gen. We start calling around to sell the leads, and something happened again. All of a sudden, people started putting courses on lead gen and how easy it is to make money. So all these people are putting up lead gen sites. So we start calling these contractors, or we start calling these business owners who are really just working for themselves, and they're like, well, listen, I get leads for half of what you sell me. Or they're like, I don't want leads, or whatever. They got all these reasons why they don't want the leads, because everybody's selling these leads. And there's definite reasons why they were getting sick of these leads. And so, for example, in the niche I was in, right? So if the contractor doesn't want to go out unless he's going to make at least $800, right? That was his minimum, $800. So what would happen? Well, he would get a phone call, say from my site. Now, before he got the call, he knew it was coming from me because there was a whisper on the line that would say 3-stage marketing lead, so he knew it was my lead. So he gets somebody on the phone and says, yeah, I got some mold in my bathroom. Contract, oh, it's $800 minimum, right? Because we know how phone savvy and bedside manner contractors have, especially when they're busy, right? It's, oh, it's $800. Well, and the guy on the phone will be, $800? What can you do for $50? No. And then they get in this long conversation. The guy's trying to ask him how to do it himself. And now the contractor's wasting his time talking to this person. And it's a waste of their time, right? Because they're busy. They're working, right? They're doing the business, doing everything. Okay, so it's a waste of their time, and it's irritating. And then the next thing that would happen is they'd get a phone call from me, and it'd be someone trying to sell them something. Trying to sell them product, right? Or better yet, trying to sell them SEO services, right? How's that look? 3-stage market. Oh, we want to sell you SEO. So, so then the other thing, and this was the best thing, is they a lot of times wouldn't answer their phone. So here's a lead going to them, goes to their voicemail. What does the person do on the other line half the time? Hangs up the phone. Because they want to talk to someone. If you need something, you want to talk to somebody. Right? Or they leave a message and the contractor doesn't want to pay for the message. And we had things built in like, oh, you only pay if it's over a minute. And then, but it was just too much of a hassle for them. So I had a bright idea. I said, well, why don't we hire a phone service to take the leads? Sounded like a good idea. It wasn't, Not everything you do is going to work, right? It didn't work because the phone service was worse than the contractor, right? Like, I don't even know what these people, I don't even know how they answer, They make like someone's calling them and they don't know why they're calling them. So it was terrible, right? So what we did is we didn't stop, though, because we knew there had to be a solution for this problem. So what we did is we looked up, we found a virtual secretary. Now, what a virtual secretary does is I get 4 people that answer my phone. Only 4 people. I give them a script. They follow the script. I listen to their calls. I correct them and refine them until they're able to, say what I need them to say. So now let's look at that phone call. Okay? So the phone rings. Hello, Precision Mold Removal. How can I help you? Yeah, I need some mold removed, in my bathroom, whatever. Our minimum's $800. Okay, yeah, it's okay. Okay, let me get Bob on the phone. You know, and so he calls Bob up. Hey, Bob. Yeah, there you go. Thanks. Calls Bob up, right? And he says, hey, Bob, I got Nancy, and she needs mold in her bathroom, this and that. Here's, okay, all right, let me patch you over to her. So now Bob gets that phone call. You think Bob likes that phone call? Right. Do you think that Bob would pay me more for that phone call than he would for all those other phone calls he's getting? What? Yeah, of course he would. Why? Because I just solved all his problems. Right? He's getting warm leads, but he's not having to deal with all the other stuff. Because Bob doesn't have time to deal with that stuff because he's too busy working, right? So what I'm trying to do with some of these things I'm telling you guys is in your business and things that you're doing, there's always some kind of solution, right? There's always something. Like nobody told me that, right? I just had to come up with it. And in your business, there's always different avenues that you can go down. Now, I'm not telling everyone that they should be doing lead gen, doing all these different things. That's just me and how I run my business. What I'm trying to show you is how, when I look at my business, what it looks like and how I view it, right? I'm not just a guy making money online. I'm a guy building a business. Okay, so I got a couple other examples, but I'm running out of time. So one more is what we did is, the other thing we did, and a lot of you guys probably won't be able to repeat this, but it just goes to show you about how you look at things. I said we were doing a franchise. We were looking at that. Well, one of the things that I did before was I did import and wholesale. So when we listened to these phone calls, we noticed that a lot of these contractors were trying to get sold product. And same thing when we looked in the franchise, it didn't work out, but what we noticed was, they were paying about $2,400 for a unit, let's say. Okay, a product, whatever it was. So what did we have, right? What did we have? We had a huge network of people, okay, because we had all these contractors. So what we were able to do is we negotiated with the manufacturers. We were able to get product for around $1,800. Okay, because we had such volume. So then we went to the contractor and says, okay, how much are you paying? $2,300? Well, how about this? How about you buy it from us for $2,200? And better yet, the more you buy, the less your leads are going to cost. Right, what do you think that happened to my business? Right? Exploded. 4 or 5 times the money from doing the same thing. Okay, now did I do it on my own? No. Okay, I didn't call those manufacturers. And actually, to make this whole thing work, it's a lot of moving pieces. Okay, there's a lot of things that have to get done. There's a lot of different things that have to get set up. Right, but would I have been able to set all that up if, going back to that first $100,000 I made, if I was doing everything myself without a system? Right? No, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. Right? I wouldn't have been able to do lead gen. I wouldn't have been able to do affiliate. Or I might have done some lead gen, or might have done some affiliate, but I'd be spread too thin. So here's the thing, guys. Like when you look at all this stuff and all the streams of income, I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I don't want you to think you got to go and do that. Because let me tell you, if I went out and I did try to do all that at once, I would have failed. No doubt I would have failed. I would not have been able to do all that at once. Because it's just too much. It would spread me too thin. But I had to do one, build my system, build my machine, then do another, and do another, and build on top of that, right? And build building blocks on top of that. So, all right. So to wrap it up, here's the thing. I'm going to circle back around, okay? To the beginning where, like I told you, we're going to tie in time, entrepreneurship, everything else. Here we are. We're sitting on the edge. Now, you guys know that I jump, right? I jump all the time. And what I want to do is the thing is that so as an entrepreneur, we jump, we do all these things. So if you guys go home. There's something I'm going to tell you right now. I'm trying to word it right. But it may stick with you forever, right? It may stick with you for the rest of your life. Okay, something that you may remember a lot. Now, you may not remember this conference, OMG, who knows, 30, 40 years. You might not remember me, my name, right? You just might remember me as that good-looking guy that was on stage. Right? Right? Yeah. Right? But you may remember this. Okay, you may remember that guy who told you to jump. Now, what if you didn't jump? And that's it. Like, we're done, right? Our life's spent. We spent all our time. Okay? And we're looking back on our life. Would you be, if you didn't jump, would you be like, man, I'm sure glad I didn't listen to that guy who told me to jump. Right? My life, I just ground out my life, and that was it. You think you'd be happy about that? Right? Or would you think, man, that guy told me to jump, right? And he said to jump, and he said if I jumped, I'd get hurt, right? But I didn't jump, I was too afraid to get hurt. Right? Do you think that you might regret that a little bit? You think, well, what would have happened if I would have jumped? So what if I would have got hurt? I would have broke my arm. I would have healed. Right? So what if I had to jump 3, 4, 5 times? Then I would have soared. My whole family would have been different. My whole life, the way my kids, view their life would have been different if I would have jumped. Right? That regret, at that last time when that time is spent is the worst regret. So, but I know that's not going to be anybody here in this room. Right? Because we're going to jump and we're going to fly and you're going to go back and 30, 40 years from now, when we're looking back at our life, we're going to be, man, that guy that said that, he was that crazy guy told me to jump. I thought he was crazy, but I listened to him. And I jumped, and I got hurt, and I got hurt, and I jumped again. But, man, I flew. Wow. Man, what a life I had. Whew, the things I've done. Man, my kids, the way they view life. Oh, amazing. Right? That's what I want everyone when they leave, and when the time comes, that's what I want everyone to remember, and what I want everyone to be. So, that's about it, guys. That's all I got.